Hey everyone, and welcome back to HealthyCast. If you're into all things health and wellness like we are, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives just like this one. All right, so today we're going to be tackling something that I think becomes more and more relevant with each passing birthday. We're talking about nutrients to watch as we age.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because when you're younger, you kind of think, oh, eat whatever, have fun. But
Yeah.
as we get older,
Things change.
things definitely change, and it can feel like a jungle out there with all the advice. And honestly, some of what we've always believed might actually be doing more harm than good.
Absolutely.
And that's where you come in.
I'll try my best.
So, you know, as we get older, our bodies they process nutrients differently.
Right.
What worked for us in our 20s, you know, might need a serious rethink once we hit the big 5L.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not about fad diets or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's really about those essential nutrients like iron, calcium, even sodium, things that maybe we don't think too much about,
Yeah.
but have some surprising effects as we get older.
Okay, so let's kick things off with iron.
Yeah.
Because I know iron deficiency, that's a big concern. But you've also mentioned that too much iron can actually be harmful.
Yes.
So what's the deal with that?
It's a good question. As we get older, our bodies, they don't have a very effective way to get rid of excess iron.
Really?
So over time, it can
Right.
build up, and that
Yeah.
buildup can cause problems, especially in the liver.
So it's like a hidden danger almost?
Yeah, it can be. And, people taking supplements without really checking their iron levels.
Right.
That's where we can get into trouble.
And I think I've heard you mention this before, but there's even research connecting excess iron to an increased risk of infections for people with compromised immune systems.
That's right, yeah. So think about people dealing with conditions like HIV or autoimmune diseases.
Oh, okay.
Those extra stores of iron can actually fuel the pathogens. Oh, wow. That's
Yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive because you think iron is good for you,
right.
but those little buggers need it to thrive too.
It makes sense in a scary kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
So where should we be getting our iron from if we need it?
I mean, food sources are always the best place to start.
Okay.
Good old red meat liver.
Mm.
Those are classic sources.
Yeah.
And, if you're looking for something more concentrated, grass-fed liver or spleen extract can be good options.
Okay.
Oh, and here's something interesting. Donating blood is actually one of the most effective ways to lower iron levels.
Oh, wow. Naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a good tip.
I like that one. All right, so let's move on to another nutrient that's been getting a lot of attention lately, and that's calcium.
Yes.
We all grew up hearing calcium strong bones, drink your milk.
Right.
But now there seems to be some talk about a potential downside.
Yeah. And it's like most things, it's really about balance.
Yeah.
Calcium is essential, no doubt.
Yeah.
But if we get too much, it can start to deposit in places we don't want it, like our arteries, our kidneys.
Yeah.
That's never good.
Not good.
And this is especially important for people who are maybe taking medications like calcium channel blockers, which are often prescribed for high blood pressure, because those medications can further increase calcium levels.
Oh, so it's not just about how much calcium we're taking in, but also how our body's processing it.
Exactly.
Wow.
And this is where vitamin D comes in.
Okay.
Vitamin D is crucial for calcium absorption. We need enough of it.
Right.
But megadosing vitamin D can actually backfire, and it can lead to something called hypercalcemia,
Okay.
which is basically just too much calcium in the bloodstream.
So it's a delicate dance.
It is. It's a delicate dance.
I'm sensing a theme here. Balance is key.
Balance is always key.
All right, so let's talk about another vitamin that has both natural and synthetic forms.
Yeah.
And that's vitamin A.
Right.
What's the difference really between the two?
That's a great question. So natural vitamin A, that's the kind we get from foods like cod liver oil, egg yolks, butter.
Yeah.
It's safe and beneficial.
Okay.
But synthetic vitamin A, which is often found in supplements,
Yeah.
this has been linked to some serious issues.
Really?
We're talking about potential liver damage,
Wow.
bone thinning, even increased pressure in the skull, which can lead to headaches.
Yikes. I had no idea. Synthetic vitamin A could be so problematic.
Yeah, it can be. It can be tricky.
Definitely going to be checking my labels more carefully.
Good idea.
Okay, so let's move on to the nutrient that I think everyone loves to hate, and that's sodium.
Sodium, the big bad wolf.
Is it really as bad as its reputation?
Sodium has gotten a bad rap, I think.
Mm-mm.
While it's true that if you have too much sodium, it can be problematic,
Right.
it's actually an essential mineral.
Really?
It's true. It plays a really important role in keeping our bodies running smoothly.
Okay.
Things like maintaining fluid balance,
Oh. Yeah.
Nerve function, muscle contraction. You need sodium for all of that.
So it's not about completely eliminating sodium.
No.
It's about finding that sweet spot.
Exactly, finding that sweet spot, understanding your individual needs,
Right.
and adjusting accordingly.
Okay, so we've talked about some nutrients that maybe we want to be a little bit cautious of as we get older.
Right.
But now I want to kind of shift gears and talk about the nutrients that we want to make sure we're getting enough of.
Yes, absolutely.
Those nutrients that are really crucial for healthy aging.
Like hitting the boost button on certain vitamins.
Exactly. Okay, I'm all ears.
All right.
So let's start with vitamin C.
Okay.
Now, I know in the past you've mentioned that you were a little bit skeptical of synthetic vitamin C.
Uh-huh.
But I've heard you say recently that there are certain situations where it can actually be really beneficial.
That's right.
So can you kind of expand on that?
Yeah, so while I still believe that getting vitamin C from natural sources like sauerkraut is ideal,
Mm-hmm.
there are some times when that synthetic vitamin C can be a powerful tool. Think about allergy season, for example. It can actually help lower histamine levels.
Wow.
And there are even some studies that suggest that it might play a role in supporting cancer treatment.
Okay, those are some impressive benefits, I gotta say.
Vitamin C is a pretty amazing nutrient.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to another B vitamin, and that is B3, or niacin.
Niacin, yes.
It's what I've heard is a real powerhouse, especially for aging.
Absolutely. Niacin is kind of an unsung hero of the vitamin world.
Okay.
Especially as we get older, it really supports healthy cholesterol levels. It helps with DNA repair, energy production.
Yeah.
It's like a multivitamin in one.
Sounds like a must-have for the over 50 crowd.
I would agree.
Okay, so now the big question I have about niacin is the flush.
Ah, yes, the dreaded niacin flush.
Is there any way to avoid that?
So the key is to start with a smaller dose and gradually increase it.
Okay.
So, begin with maybe 50 milligrams.
Okay.
And see how you tolerate that. And then you can slowly increase the dose over time.
And you personally, do you experience the flush?
I take between 500 and 1,000 milligrams daily, and I don't get the flush.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it is possible.
It is possible.
Awesome. All right, let's move on to magnesium.
Magnesium.
Now, this is a mineral that you've talked about before in terms of its relationship with calcium.
Right.
You said that it can actually help regulate calcium.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of elaborate on that connection?
Yeah, so think of magnesium as calcium's traffic director.
I like that.
It helps to prevent calcium from building up in our cells, particularly in the arteries.
Okay.
And this is really crucial for preventing arterial calcification, which can lead to heart disease.
Right. Makes sense.
So magnesium is kind of making sure that calcium goes where it's supposed to go,
Right.
and stays out of the places where it can cause problems.
And I think magnesium is a mineral that has so many other benefits as well, right?
Absolutely. It's a real multitasker.
Okay.
It helps with blood pressure regulation, muscle relaxation,
Yeah.
energy production.
Oh, wow.
It can even help you sleep better. And it can also help to reduce levels of cortisol, which is our stress hormone.
Wow. Magnesium really is like a wonder mineral.
It is. It's a powerhouse.
Okay, definitely adding that to my shopping list.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about what some people call the sunshine vitamin,
Okay.
and that is vitamin D.
Yes,
Now, it seems like vitamin D deficiency is incredibly common these days.
it is.
Why is that, and how much do we really need?
Yeah, so most of us simply aren't getting enough sunlight, especially as we get older.
Mm,
Our skin's not as efficient at producing vitamin D.
right.
And food sources of vitamin D are actually pretty limited.
Yeah.
So I typically recommend a daily dose of about 10,000 IU to make sure people are getting enough.
Okay, now is that safe? I know there's been some talk about vitamin D toxicity.
Yeah, it's a good question. And 10,000 IU is perfectly safe.
Okay.
And to kind of put that in perspective, spending about 40 minutes in the sun actually produces around 20,000 IUs of vitamin D3 naturally.
Wow. Okay, that definitely puts it into perspective for me.
Good.
All right, we're in the home stretch now. Let's talk about another vitamin that's really important for bone health, and that is vitamin K.
Right.
Now, I know there are two types of vitamin K,
There are.
K1 and K2.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference?
Yeah. So vitamin K1 is kind of the clotting superstar.
Okay.
It ensures normal blood clotting.
Okay.
There's a misconception out there that vitamin K1 increases clotting risk, but that's simply not true.
Okay.
It just makes sure that your blood clots normally when it needs to.
Got it.
So, load up on those leafy greens. They're a great source of vitamin K1.
Okay, so what about vitamin K2? What makes it so special?
Well, if vitamin K1 is the clotting superstar, then vitamin T2 is the calcium conductor.
I like that.
It makes sure that calcium goes to our bones where it's needed,
Right.
and it prevents it from depositing in our arteries and our soft tissues.
Okay.
So it's really important for preventing things like arterial calcification.
Gotcha.
And vitamin K2. It also supports energy production
Okay.
and healthy mitochondria, which are the powerhouses of our cells.
Wow. Well, what an incredible journey through the world of nutrients.
It's a fascinating world.
It really is. And, it's so clear that as we age, understanding our individual needs and being mindful of these key nutrients is absolutely crucial for healthy aging.
Absolutely.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
No, definitely not.
And it's a lifelong process of learning and adapting.
I agree.
Well, this has been so insightful. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us.
Of course, my pleasure.
And listeners, remember, this is just the beginning of the conversation. We'd love to hear your thoughts, your experiences, your questions down in the comments below. And before you go, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into health and wellness. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.